Hello everybody and welcome back to another Thursday stream. It's your friendly neighbor Luka, and today we have our bi-monthly World End Table Talks podcast. Whew, that's a little bit of a mouthful, but how's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well. And as usual, we always have some special guests with us on this podcast, and our guests this time, it is their first time on the official stream, and I think they could introduce themselves better than I can. So let's have our guests for today. We have AceTrainerE7, I'm Sue, and TristenWulf. Ace Trainer, the floor is yours.
Hey everyone, pleasure to be here. My name is Ace Trainer and I stream on Twitch on weekdays. I fell in love with RTA after coming from competitive Pokemon, and my favorite character is definitely Fire Haste.
Ooh, okay.
Hey, what's going on, E7 fam? I'm super excited to be here. I'm Sue, but feel free to call me Pat. I am a former game designer, coach, and competitive card game player. You probably know me from the Orbis Caster Clash, where I participated in that, and I do educational style content for Epic7 on YouTube, and I am just now getting into Twitch streaming.
Okay, Tristan, it's your turn.
Tristan, you there?
Oh.
Hey there, Epic7. I'm TristenWulf. I've made a couple of YouTube videos. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Epic7.
Oh.
Am I coming through? Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm TristenWulf. I've made a couple of YouTube videos. I hope you like them. I've been playing Epic7 since 2018, and it's a huge honor to be here today as an influencer and part of the stream.
Yes, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for giving your time to us today. And so we have a lot to discuss. So we're going to go right into our topics of the day. So the first thing we are going to be talking about are some PvE things. And the very first thing is Ancient Inheritance Season 6. The new season just started this past Monday, and one of the things I do want to talk about is the equipment set being attack set as well as not having effectiveness or effect resistance. How do you feel about that?
You want to take this one, Tristan? Or do you want me to try? All right, so I think the general consensus amongst the community is that attack
Guys,
set is...
Attack set's not that bad. Attack set
Okay.
is very...
Oh, no, go ahead, Tristan. You can have it. Oh. I don't know if Tristan's like on a delay or not.
Oh, maybe is he?
It's like I'm on some crazy delay. Attack set's not bad, guys. Yeah.
Oh, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're looking into it, so it's fine. You can just...
You better take this one, Sue, until I figure out what's going on with my mic.
Okay, yeah, so attack set, as Tristan was saying, is not exactly that bad. It's just mathematically, it's not quite as good as speed or destruction set. So I think that's kind of why there's a little bit of disappointment. The subs are pretty good for the most part, though. You definitely still usable, especially if you're someone that's trying to clear a lot of PvE content. Attack set is really, really good in PvE. Again, not the most optimal thing for PvP, as I'm sure Ace will elaborate on in a second. I think even though it doesn't have effectiveness or effect resistance on some of the pieces, it has crit chance. I think that if they adjusted what attack set actually offers you, these pieces would be a little bit better. Because right now, at least for me, for PvP, attack set is primarily reserved for more specialized characters like a Runka, for example. And crit chance and crit damage don't really do a whole heck of a lot there.
Yeah, I think attack set, basically what Sue said, he said it perfectly. Like attack sets would be on those characters where you're trying to push their attack over the limit that's possible with speed sets. So you actually want to roll like speed substats onto those Ancient Inheritance gear, but it also means if you don't roll speed substats onto them, they're probably not as helpful for those specialized units like Carrot, Senya, Arunka. And then you would need Golem gear to supplement that. But not a lot of people are farming Golem because it's sort of a feedback loop, right? Like speed set's better, so people are farming Wyvern. So that's just how it stands. I would say these gears are going to be helpful for people in doing PvE stuff. And I'm sure TristenWulf and a lot of people that are very focused on PvE would be using them. But as for PvP, I don't see me like making huge upgrades with these gears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I think that the crit set offers a little bit more, especially for newer players, because like that is a universally great set for newer players because they're usually struggling a little bit to get to 100% critical hit chance. It's one of the better sets, especially as a 2P set, in terms of what it offers you mathematically, what value you basically get out of the set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've ever really have we really seen like 2 sets given before. I feel like most of the time it's like a 4 set piece of equipment. But you know, yeah, PvE, it's great for PvE. Yes, hello PvE player right here. So I do like it. But you know, moving on, let's talk about the Forge Your Epic Gear event. Tristen, you know, once it starts feeling like there's no delay, feel free to chime in and we can figure this out. But I do want to ask everybody, what equipment set, like which equipment set as well as stats did you choose for both your left and right side gear? You know, I mean, I feel like maybe you guys are going to be all pretty similar, but, you know.
See if Tristan's got the delay or not. I'll let him try to take it.
I really want to put it out there that people should not change their gear set just because of what we're running.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just
it looks
kind of
like I still got the delay.
Okay. Well, I mean, Sue, you guys can, or Tristen.
What I'm...
We'll
I
work
went with a
the
speed
delay.
set because it's very, very versatile.
Yeah, I have a similar thing.
That's okay. I'm going to try to figure it out on this end here.
Okay. Yeah, I also went with a speed set helmet as my first piece because the helmet in general is the piece that has the most amount of variance on it. So when given the choice to kind of control that variance, to choose what I'm looking for, I went for that. And then just looking through all my gear, I determined I don't really have a good speed DPS helmet, or at least the ones that I have could be a bit better. So I went with a speed set helmet with crit chance, crit damage, attack, speed.
Okay, what about you, Ace?
Yeah, I followed similar logic, but ended up with a Soul Weaver-ish helmet. Speed set, optimized, right, helmet. It's the hardest left slot, in my opinion, to get, right? And but I went with the HP percentage, defense percentage, speed substat, and FRES, and I made it max roll HP and roll speed twice, because I think max roll, yeah, you can only choose 3 in that. So yeah, 3 rolls into HP, 2 rolls into speed. I feel like it's sort of timeless gear that you could put on. Now the meta would be like LRK and stuff, but later on you could put on any sort of Soul Weaver heals HP scaling unit, right?
Yeah, that's a really strong pick, honestly. That's good on a lot of bruisers, a lot of Soul Weavers. Like, that's like a universal piece. You're exactly right. It's one of those things where I feel like in general you have kind of like 3 sets of gear. And Epic stuff is kind of like you want your bruiser / Soul Weaver gear, you want your DPS gear, and then you want your like speed contester / like control characters like a Faithless Litica, right? Like or even like a Lua or a Peyra. Like, those are the kinds of characters. So I feel like you want to focus on something that's timeless for like one of those 3 archetypes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I mean, I know there's a little bit of a delay, but Tristen, you can go ahead. The floor is yours for just kind of like your thoughts, so that way we can still get yours in. If we'll give it like a few seconds. If not, then we will just move on. Okay, so we're just gonna move on to the next topic for now.
Bear with me here.
We'll
I'm
have Tristen
restarting
jump
Discord.
right in whenever he gets back in. So we are going to be moving on into our PvP topic, and the first thing I do want to talk about, this is something that is coming up, and it's the World Arena season, and the Indomitable season is ending next week. So first I do have to ask, what rank are you guys going to be, kind of specifically pushing towards? Chat, you can answer this too. I want to know what rank you're aiming for. I will say I have put in my 100 games. I'm like a little over 100 games. I am not challenger. I have been lied to. I'm just saying. I'm still
Who said you
Masters.
needed 100 for Challenger?
I think we talked about this last time on stream too.
Uh-huh.
Someone told me because we were doing like an account review for my account, and we were looking over my units and stuff, and they're like, if you play 100 games, Challenger easy. And I was like, bet. I've been lied to. So, but yeah, let's. What rings are you pushing for?
I guess I'll go first because I think compared to Ace, I have the one that's not as impressive. I try to get at least Crab Gaming Emperor every single season. I'm currently Emperor, but I'm at the bottom of it. I'll try to shore that up, try to push for like top 200, and then kind of just hold on tight there. One of the big things I always talk about in my videos, I kind of like to, practice what I preach. If I'm trying to educate newer players or aspiring players to be good at the game, I kind of have to prove that the theories and the builds that I'm talking about actually work against some of the best players in the game. So, if it holds up against top 500 in the world, it's probably pretty good. It's probably pretty solid. So that's pretty much my logic for why I at least try to get to that far every season. One day, maybe I'll make a legend push, but I think the average number of games you need for legend is like 1,200, 1,300 maybe in a given season. And I have just under 400 right now. I usually average about 600 or so in a season.
That's fair.
Okay, what about you, Ace?
For me, I would say I've tried this ever since 4 seasons ago, but I always just try to make that legend push. And so I'll probably aim to be that top 100 spots in the last 2 days, and then just chill there and see how it goes. Yeah.
Dang, I mean, I guess that makes sense because you could get pushed out within the last like hour or two too. Yeah. So just getting kind of get as high as you can, and then just like pray that you don't get kicked, right?
Yeah, it's a common thing that happens at the end of the season. Like a lot of people that are competitive in like more like RTA focused guilds, they'll be either parked at a spot that's like maybe top 50 in the last 2 days, or they're slowly like inching their way to the top 100 spot in like the last 12 hours or so. And a common phrase that people often say is like, hey, am I safe? Am I safe? I'm parked. Am I safe? So.
Yeah, one of the things I will say, I can't speak to Legend, but if you've ever tried to push for Emperor, something you have to recognize is that once you're in a comfortable spot, like say 400th place, 300th place, something like that, you don't really have to play a whole heck of a lot more, because when you think about it, 2 people come into a game, right? One wins, one loses an Emperor, so one goes up and one drops. So it's kind of like if you just kind of sit there and don't play, half of the people who are pushing are going to push past you, but the other half are going to fall behind you. So you're not really moving. Like that's like a stress-free strategy. Like you could psych yourself out a lot when you're climbing at the end of the season, and just, you'll play on tilt, right? You'll just be like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to maintain the rating, and then you just lose it. I could speak from experience. I lost an Emperor rating one season for that exact reason.
Oh man, that is wild.
As long as once you start to realize that, like, in the last like 5 or 6 hours, you don't have to stress if you're like in a comfortable spot. It's like Ace said, you can park yourself and feel pretty good about it.
I'm seeing someone in chat saying, or you make packs to not queue.
Oh no. No, we don't do collusion here. We don't do collusion here.
People are greedy. Packs fail, I think.
Ooh, backstabbing.
Yes.
Oh man. Also, we did a poll in chat to see, where you think you'll be finishing. YouTube, surprisingly, majority of you were saying Masters, whereas on Twitch was like, Challenger champion for me. So I mean, we'll come back in 2 weeks because it ends like on Friday. So I'm gonna ask you in like 2 weeks where you ended, and we'll see. We'll see if you were true to your word or not. Okay, but
man.
Alrighty.
That would be painful. If both Ace and I boomed, that would be so painful.
It's okay. No, you got this. Chat, you too. Okay, you too. But okay, since we're talking about ranks and such, how do you feel like this season is kind of compared to last season? Good, bad,
I actually feel better about this season.
I think it's real similar to last season. Am I on a delay? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Am I back?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear.
Can you hear us?
see how it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's looking still like a
Maybe.
little bit of
I
a
guess
delay.
that means I'm still on a little bit of a delay.
Possibly.
Nah, Tristan, if you want, we'll wait. We'll give you the floor. I
Put it
kind of
on
want
the
to get you
floor at
involved.
least.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. The PvE guy talking about RTA, right? No, I play my fair share of RTA, and I've been having a lot of fun this season. I try to switch it up every season, play a little bit of a different style. I've played standard, I've played control, I've played tank down turn 2. This season I'm being a dirty degenerate cleaver, so sorry about that, guys. If I laugh, don't at me about it. It's just part of the persona, right? I was surprised to see that there were really no frenzy changes from last season, and that effectively we're fighting the same fight as we were fighting last season, just with the introduction of some new units and some new balance changes. Last Rider Krause brought back Golden Boys, which I am just absolutely thrilled about, but still rolling with the punches on that, right? I mean, don't ask for what was it you said, Sue? No nerfs, no buffs.
Oh yeah, so there's
Adapt.
no yeah. It's exactly It's a policy of don't ask for nerfs, don't ask for buffs, don't ask for patches, just adapt. That's pretty much that's the fighting game mantra. Basically, just get good. It's just the politer way to say that. Just figure out the solution. But yeah, Tristan's kind of right. I think that it's weird. It's like
It's
where
a very
we're at in
diverse
this
season, and I really like how diverse it is.
Yeah, this season is very much. It feels like where we're at now feels like the beginning of last season. Because for me, at the end of last season, I was very much first pick hand guy, second pick blue hand lady all the time. And now I find myself on hand guy A Robbie, which is the standard from like 3 or 4 months ago as like my first 2 go-tos. Or obviously Conqueror Lilia, so it's like the big 3 basically. And then after that, you have, like he was saying, you have like a little bit of Golden Boys, a little bit of these new characters coming in and things like that. So it's the same but different. Like it feels good, right? It feels good. It's like a very satisfying puzzle to see all these different drafts and try to figure out how to counter them. So even though it's like 80% the same, the 20% like new stuff we have is pretty exciting, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, as we're talking kind of about like meta units make up, our game. And so I do want to talk a little bit some specific units. And first, I do want to talk about Inos 2.0. Inos, recently had her specialty change. And so, what were your first impressions of her? And, how do you kind of like feel about her currently? I know there's a little bit of hype around her because she's kind of like the first Dark Soul Weaver to heal. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about this. So when Inos first came out, I thought she was going to be like an Amelia type character, just anchoring your dark draft. But I find her to be more like a Flitica, but with book capabilities. So her synergy is insane with obviously Stene, but also with Zio, with Malona, with Pirate Flan. So she's one of those like all-in characters like Flitica is, and she doesn't care too much about Aiden, doesn't care too much about opponents' counterattacks and such, right? So I think she's really good for people who want to have some tempo in either taking turn 1 or retaliating after the first turn.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Ace. I was really high on the specialty change when it came out. I've used Inos in the past for a lot of PvE stuff, for a lot of Abyss, for example. She's one of the only real Dark Soul Weavers, so for certain challenges, she's kind of really good. So I was like, hey, the specialty change reads incredible. So even if this character has no PvP applications whatsoever, it's definitely going to find a home in PvE somewhere. And then I started playing with her in RTA and feeling that very akin to like Desert Jewel Basar, like that very aggressive support like Ace was talking about. It's like something in like the 260 speed range. Like you said, Flitica, that's a pretty apt description. Because if your opponent is playing like a hand guy draft, they're like very passive reactive. She kind of gives you that little bit of aggression, that like oomph that your draft needs. And I really like the design space of, if you draft her with a bunch of dark units, you kind of get a little bit of an extra bonus. I would be playing her a lot more. Like when she first came out, I played her a lot. I play her a little bit less now, and that's because of a certain red Soul Weaver that I won't really get into here. But otherwise, I think that she's phenomenal and honestly underplayed.
Yeah, I'm seeing someone in chat saying they still have it pulled, and I know to this day, it makes me
I'd
wonder
like to say,
how long you've been playing.
I want to say that it's funny Sue should mention PV applications. She's freakishly good for killing the priests in Ancient Inheritance. I'll put out a video using her in the next few days. Bang, an awesome unit. She's really easy to do her SC. I mean, everyone should pick her up because it's a pretty easy SC to do. She's a gorgeous looking character. And for people struggling without Mediator Coeric, she reminds me a lot of him. Now, I mean, she's not a perfect replacement. We're talking about a 3-star versus a 5, you know, the best 5-star in the game, arguably. But with her constant cycling, her attack buffs, her cleansing, it reminds me a lot of the way Mediator Coeric works. And having a unit on your team that can automatically just give 20 souls to dark units. So now your Briar Witch Assaria can burn, your Spectre Tenebria can burn, and people forget about it. They don't look at her and realize, oh my God, this just gave a book to his team. So it's a unit you should pick up.
Yeah. Just because you don't see your favorite streamer
That's
playing it doesn't mean that it's a bad unit. You should absolutely give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you can summon her sometime. I mean, you do need to be able to summon her to be able to do her specialty change. But moving on, I do want to talk about Architect Luka as well. You know, what were your first impressions versus kind of after going through her like balance change? How do you feel about her now?
I think me and Sue might have similar opinions here, where I think this hero is so overwhelming to fight when they have the first turn already. The only thing that could kind of screw her combo over is when you have a unit like extra turn, like C. Lilius, into her, because then the opponent's hand guy can cut you and cleanse that target. But normally when you have just a first turn and you play it correctly, she just straight up kills one unit or maybe two, kills the Stene because of her S3 ignoring damage share, and just completely swings the fight around. And you combine that with something like the green Luka or with Apocalypse Ravi, and you just have an anchor alongside your win condition, you know. Really, really strong, I think.
Yeah, I have similar opinions to him. In game design, I really value something that has a defined role or like a niche, a purpose, right? But I like characters that have this experimentation or this player expression. So to give you a quick example, like Maid Chloe, VIP treatment's a revive. She's a reviver, right? That's what you're primarily playing her for. But you could play her fast for the attack buff as like an aggressive support. You could play her mid speed with a bunch of resist as a cleanser. You could play her slow on Celestine on counter set. So very diverse and lets you kind of play the character you want to play. Conversely, Architect Luka, I'm not high on her because she's kind of the opposite of that. It's more narrow, more silver bullet-y when you think about it. And what I mean by silver bullet is like something that, you know, it's essentially just, it answers one specific thing. It kills the problem, the monster. Every Architect Luka is going to be built very similarly. It's just going to be fast. It's going to be on book. It kills the tank or whatever. It does the thing. And so every time you play against it, it's like it either does nothing or it's just like Ace said, it's really just to fight against. So it doesn't feel fun to fight against. It doesn't feel fun, arguably, I would assume. I don't have the character to play because it's very linear in its style. And I just don't think it's a very exciting character to watch just because everybody knows exactly what it does. There's no wow or guesswork. Like I said, you don't know what it would be like if it was a Maid Chloe. You could be one of 3 different styles. Luka's just Luka. And I just, like I said, my opinion hasn't changed on her then, from then to now, basically. That's exactly how I feel about her.
Okay.
So remember, everybody, when you match Sue or Ace Trainer, they really don't like fighting against her. And let me tell you, she is a riot to take into slower players, especially turn 2 and tank down. She's a destructive force. I'm sorry she's not fun to fight against. She's really fun to use because when she works, she works. And targeting one unit with Elagos, and then targeting another unit with Leica, and then killing your Spectre Tenebria, and then having Elagos throw his suitcase on that 4th unit all day long. All day long. That is a riot, and I'm sorry it wasn't fun for you, but it's all about me in that fight.
At least you're having fun with it. That's the thing. Like,
he's very play style specific. If you don't play a very fast-paced, aggressive style, if you're not playing a very fast-paced, aggressive style, you're probably going to not use her very much and feel like she's not a very good unit, but that's play style dependent.
Yeah. It's not doomed though. I will say, even though I've said all these things about how she's hard to counter, as the slower player, it's important to draft something like Apocalypse Ravi or something like Angel of Light to counteract her, because after, APOC having proof would survive the target S3, you can definitely like revive your DPS back, or you retaliate with so many debuffs from Angel of Light. Yeah. So it's not impossible to fight against, but it's definitely very strong.
Yeah, you always want to try to draft something that's like a little bit reactive, like you said, like AOL with the reactive S2, or you want to draft like Sage Ball or whatever have you, depending on the situation. You don't want to just take it lying down.
Yeah, so moving on to the next unit I do want to talk about. This is a unit that is there's a lot of conversations happening around him right now. And this is Twisted Eidolon Kairon, aka I like to call him Tekron. Okay, so he's only been out for he's been out for like a week now, I believe, or a little over a week. So first impressions. Yeah, what are your first impressions?
Let's let Tristan have the floor on this one.
Yeah.
This unit has a lot of potential. Okay. I've seen a lot of hate, right? A lot of people well, not everybody, but everybody who matters has been waiting for Kairon. ML Kairon's a unit everyone was really excited about. And when he popped out, his animations look great. A lot of people like the style and aesthetic of him. But then they try to use him, and he's just really difficult to use in his current form. There's some aspects about him that are just difficult to conscience. Like he gives barriers that scale off his health, but he does damage that scales off his attack. And he needs crit and crit damage to be able to do damage, but you probably want to run him slower because you need other units to pace him and take turns to stack him up. So he needs to be really tanky. So you need health and defense. And because you're running him slow, he can't be controlled. So you need to stack effect resistance on there. It's a lot. Most attack scaling bruiser units have some form of protection. You got Senya, who doesn't need crit or crit damage, so she can stack the other stats. You got Violet, who has got built-in evasion and built-in counter set, so he can run life steals to help protect themselves. All the units that are attack scaling bruiser units have some form of protection, and Kairon, he really doesn't have a lot of that. If he was an HP scaler, that would help. If he maybe had a Landy style passive where he scaled up his fighting spirit based on the number of buffs, not just on units that are buffed. Or maybe if he even started with some fighting spirit, or ideally some combination of all of that, he could find his place. But he's just very difficult to play right now. And by difficult, I mean darn near unplayable. So I'm really hoping he does get a little nudge, because what an amazing looking unit, and definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah, my opinion comes from like a design philosophy. Like, we've kind of balanced the character around 10k fixed damage on the S3, which is a lot. Anybody who's played against a certain green collab unit knows how powerful that is. And I feel like because that is such a powerful S3, we've had to make a lot of design concessions on it. So instead of the character innately having counter chance, we got to give him a buff, which means he's vulnerable to effectiveness characters with unbuffable, things like that. And then we put him on Scorpio Thief, which, watch check my stuff, you know how much I hate that stat line. So he's not very tanky, he's very easy to kill. And like Tristan said, he's something scale off attack, something scale off health. Dust Devil doesn't work for some reason on him. That's just like, again, it's another concession. It feels like we tried to make so many concessions for what's arguably a very powerful S3. And my worry is that if we peel back some of those concessions, people will start to realize, hey, that S3 is like really insane. So I'm afraid that we might like power leap him, not even power creep him. If he gets adjustments, we go too far in what we're doing with him. So I think where I would personally start is look at the S3 and figure out what we can kind of do with it, and then peel back those restrictions afterwards.
Yeah. Based on just design alone, I was so excited about this character, and looking at the kit and seeing some of my friends play him. His S3 and his S1 kind of lack synergy, right? His S1, you want to proc just to sustain himself. His S3 gives damage mitigation when it's unused, and in like the Frenzy 3 or Frenzy 4, it'll give that fixed damage. But S1 is not helping generate that fighting spirit. And so when he is being drafted in a way how like ML Celine would be drafted, he actually doesn't ramp up as you would expect him to. So I would say make that S1 and S3 synergize somewhat. And another thing I'll say, the only person that I've seen play him in like higher level RTA and then actually proc his 10k fixed damage is my friend Vinny. And even though his K round was insanely built, like very well geared, after proccing that 10k fixed damage and wiping the whole team except the enemy knight, because after you use the S3, you lost that 30% damage mitigation. That's when the knight actually just S1 and killed him in like Frenzy 3.
Yeah,
so it's just something. Some things need to be tweaked for him to become like pretty strong and viable in his niche.
Yeah, that's that Scorpio stat line I keep talking about. It's the only stat line where flat defense is better than defense percentage. Yeah, the only person I've ever seen win with him is Elmage. I've seen only one game won with Elmage by him. I've not seen him win. I've seen him dozens of times. So he definitely needs something. Like they definitely are going to have to look at him for sure.
Did Elmage proc the S3 fixed damage?
Yeah, he did.
Oh wow. Okay.
And even then, it was still close. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we can hear you.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, real time Tristan. Real Tristan Arena, if you will.
The little laptop that could. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you know, as we're talking about possibly what could help him be balanced, balance is kind of a tricky thing, right? Because you tweak one thing and all of a sudden too strong.
Yeah, that's my worry. That's what I was saying. I don't want to power creep or power leap him. I want to get it right. Like I said, he has so many concessions, and I'm worried if you pull them back, that again, that true damage might be a bit too much. It's a really delicate thing. They have to make sure they take their time and test it, whatever they decide to do.
So, you know, we see that, okay, Tristan is muted right now. We will get that, so don't you worry. But we are going to be moving on to kind of the next topic as we're talking about, you know, balances. And we did have the balance patch last month. And now that we've spent a little bit of time now with these changes, you know, who do you feel like benefited from the balance patch? And for people in chat, just in case, you know, you don't remember who was exactly on that patch, it was Last Rider Crow, Closer Charles, Ken, Lilius, Ilyanov, Tywin, and Christy. So,
Ace, you want to take the obvious elephant in the room?
Sure. So Last Rider Crow is amazing. He is pretty fun to play. His kit does exactly what you want it to do, and he just offers so much protection against AoE attacks and does damage, and it's just like a really good anchor comparable to like Apocalypse Ravi. So I think he's the clear winner of the patch, and I always fight him like almost every other game I'm fighting him or playing him. So yeah,
I would be jokingly calling him Light Dark Corvus, because that's kind of how he feels after his changes. Yeah, Ace is right. LRK is insane. He's definitely one of the for sure meta characters. He's really strong right now. For me personally, the characters I've enjoyed the most out of the balance patch, I really like Red Lilius. I know a lot of people don't play her as much. I haven't been enjoying her after her changes. But the big one is Ilyanov. Anybody who's watched me play in Conda's tournament a couple of weeks back, it's Ilinab, baby. We love that character. That character's so fun. The multiplier on her S2 Soulburn is ridiculous. It's 1.4 times attack plus 28% health scaling, which is one of the most absurd multipliers in the entire game. So you could just absolutely, destroy Apocalypse Robbie with that character. Like in the past, I'd go Injury Alencia when I would see Apocalypse Robbie. Now I am all in on Winsenberg waifu here, Ilinab. I think she's so fun to play.
Because the weakness with Alencia into APOC Anchor is their draft, they can still go stuff like Milim that I would struggle dealing with. But with Ilinab, you definitely have a better elemental matchup when you take that into effect.
You're less likely to get trapped. Like taking Ilinab like on 3 or 4 feels a lot better than Alencia. Like I've been streaming my couple games of RTA, and when I take Alencia, I commonly get trapped, and a lot of my viewers actually pointed it out. Like Alencia is not it right now. Ilinab is surprisingly a much better, much safer draft pick.
I kind of want to circle back to what you said about Lilius, because I don't know if you tried using her as a Lua counter, right? It kind of goes in connection with the artifact buff too. I think that buff was designed specifically for her to counter Lua. I tried it for a bit, but didn't like it too much because they could still cheese out that Lilius S2 proc with maybe if they select a Ran so that the Ran procs Lilius and then Lua resets you because Lilius' skill is used up already, right? Or they just S2 Lilius with Lua, make her asleep, and then S1 Death Break something else, and then maybe tunnel all that damage onto that something else. So a lot of the times I feel like Lilius does not keep up with the tempo of Lua. I thought the damage, her C damage buff from the artifact proc would help her keep up, but when I use her, not really. But maybe I have to play more aggressive for that to happen. I don't know.
That what you were saying about the artifact, the more artifact after the changes, like that goes back to what I was talking about silver bullets. It's either gonna, when you design something so narrow like that, it's either gonna be not effective or it's gonna be too effective. That's how I find personally from just my personal experience. So I had a similar experience to you. Just Lilius plus I think it's Ancient Dragon Legacy just didn't perform the way that I thought it would, and that just meant Lua went back to pre-ban status. For me, Lilius has been an adamant shield holder, like an off tank that I take in my drafts, and I play her with really high effectiveness and 50% crit, and I kind of just use her as a bruiser. And if I have book, I can just soul burn for big value later on, either in the middle or later parts of the drafts. Like I've won a lot of games where it comes down to just like Lilius hand guy, and I'm flush with souls, and I just go soul burn, soul burn, soul burn, and I have so much tempo at that point. It's really, really good. I've beaten A Robbies with that. Fortunately, they're like defense broken, so I can kind of make it work. But she's been really fun. Not as crazy. I thought she would be the clear winner of the patch. She feels very like low tier 2, high tier 3, but definitely a really fun and solid unit.
Yep. I'm curious too if you had any experience like using Tywin or playing against Water Tywin or like fighting Closer Charles, Ken, Christie. What do you think, Sue?
I see a lot of Christie, but that's largely in tandem with Arya. That's like the KHM special, right?
Yeah.
I see that from time to time. I haven't had too much difficulty with that one, but an uptick in play is obviously very good on the character. Closer Charles, I've seen him a couple of times, but it hasn't really been crazy impactful. Honestly, I feel like the best thing to develop out of his meta was a friend of mine figured out that he's really optimal for certain one-shots, so that's where I've been using mine.
Okay.
But overall, I think Christie is a little bit better, obviously, and then Closer Charles, like not too much different there.
I like one of my slower tank down streamer friends was worried that Closer Charles was going to be overbuffed from just seeing the patch preview, but then that was not the case. I've never seen this unit played after his buff, but maybe it's because people are opting to take Flitica, right? But if Flitica's banned out, I think he would serve as that bridge.
Yeah, it's the Scorpio Thief problem again, as I was talking about with Kairon. It's just the characters that are on it, it's like they either just don't have enough defense, they don't have enough speed. It's that stat line is really, it's really good in some spots and really bad in others, and it holds back, I think, certain characters like Closer Charles or Kayron as a result. I really think that's a stat line that needs to get looked at and reevaluated.
Yeah, I mean, I saw someone in chat, really, it was like a while ago, but they're saying that after like that balance patch, like turn 2 like felt a lot better to play. Would you agree with that?
Yes. I haven't gotten around to Tywin, which was the last character, honestly. I kind of forgot about what Ace to say. But I haven't gotten around to it because I just haven't really experimented too much, largely because I don't have a ton of resources for him. But he feels like he's underappreciated and underplayed. Maybe I should kind of experiment a bit more. But yeah, that was definitely the turn 2 players patch. We definitely got a lot of tools, and I feel like I have a lot more freedom in drafting as a result. So I agree with chat's assessment.
Yeah, I think LRK is actually, like, ironically a better answer to Lua than Lilius is. Like, if I were to have to open Lua in the pre-bans, I would say, like, if I can anchor my draft with an APOC and an LRK, I have that damage and I have that immunity. Like, turn 2 really feels like pretty decent right now because LRK's true damage is just so strong. Like, a lot of things just circle back to him. AOL being used a bit more. Like Aiden, you don't worry about as much because true damage hits through evasion so much. So I would say turn 2 is in a pretty good spot alongside that and some collab units that's been like released to us, right? So.
Yeah.
Tristan, you got any thoughts? Still looks like he's having the technical difficulties.
It's okay. While we're still trying to. Oh, I think you're muted now. Oh, you're still muted. Maybe still on a little bit of a delay. Oh, while we are working on that, we will be releasing the survey ASAP. So remember to fill out the survey. This week is a survey week. Fill out the survey for your 3 leaves and 300k gold. That's sweet.
I will have to as well. I'm broke on gold and leaves.
300k gold.
Yes, I am doing that as well.
I'll do it right after the stream ends, but I definitely have to get on that. Hunt buff win, please. I need another one.
You know, it's kind of funny because we had like back to back hunt buffs and people were like, please wait, no, this is too much. Yeah. And now we're back to hunt buff win.
Yeah.
Hunt buff win.
Unfortunately, I say that, but I'll probably go through my leaves in like a couple of hours. Ever since I kind of got Straze to work as a one-shot for all 5 hunts, like I cannot keep stamina. It's just gone. Like the second I...
That's such a big achievement. Congratulations, dude. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I did it. Yeah, I did it partially because a friend of mine helped me, and also Tristan's videos. Like, it took a lot of like tweaking, and like I said, my buddy Welchie made it a reality on my account, and like now I'm just like farming at warp speed, and it feels so good.
Aww.
Except I just never have leaves. Like right now, I think I have like 40, which is like the most I feel like I've had since I've assembled it. I was like, yeah, I got 40. I'm above 10 for once. But that'll go quickly. That'll go definitely in a whole afternoon of hunt ball.
Yeah, I mean,
perfect.
They go real fast
Yeah.
when you have those one shots. We've talked a lot about PvP. Okay, we're gonna be moving on into some QOL non-gameplay topics, and we're gonna also we're gonna double check, okay, if Tristan is back. So we are gonna be talking about the new bloom system. There has been so much, I would say, kind of controversy, okay, behind the bloom system. But what are your thoughts on it? We'll try to go with Tristan first. So
the bloom system is fantastic. I mean, really fantastic. And if you don't think it's fantastic, then maybe you just don't understand what's going on with the bloom system. So there was a lot of pushback on it, and that's because Epic 7's leveling system is somewhat convoluted and difficult to wrap your brain around. It's a lot more complex than your average game's leveling system. And what it got replaced with is a less complex, but still complex and difficult system. So I think a lot of people are boomer hating it. The it's different and I don't like different. But really, I mean, there's so many good things about this system. Like, you ever pull on a banner and you get the unit that you want, and then you 6-star it, and then you randomly get a dupe off of just a random pull, and you're like, I could have used that to level this unit. Well, now it's even better. You can imprint the unit, and you get the blooms back that are the equivalent of using that to level, and you can use that to level another unit. You can the stigma income is so much higher that you can farm unrecorded history for more gold than you get farming Wyvern. Not even kidding. Mathed it out over an hour, substantially more gold farming unrecorded history than farming Wyvern. So you can split it up. When you need gold, you can go after unrecorded history. When you need gear, you can go after Wyvern. Now, hunt buffs and gold buffs are going to change things, of course, but still, it's way simpler. I mean, you want to break it down, you need 500 silver blooms, and boom, you make a 6-star unit.
Yeah.
A lot of people saw that and got disturbed by it. They're like, oh no, I don't have enough blooms. I can't convert the silvers into purples. I can only use these to make 3-star units. And that was the kind of misinformation that was out there. If you're out of purple blooms and you try to make a unit, a pop-up window that for some reason won't pop up any other time will pop up and let you convert the blooms and make your 6-star unit. You no longer have to sandbag units in your storage waiting for a pull so that you can level your units. You can go ahead and imprint them. You can go ahead and fodder all of those 3 stars that you had just hanging out there that you were going to use for imprints later. I emptied my storage. I have enough blooms to like 6-star, I think 9 units now. And it was really refreshing emptying out that storage that's been accumulating for the better part of a year. Anybody who feels like they've got a legitimate gripe with the system, find me on Discord and DM me and explain to me your thought process, because there's only one major negative about this, and that's that dogs are cooler than flowers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why Smilegate killed our doggos, but
yeah, I agree with Tristan for the most part. Yeah. The big thing for me is and I could speak to this because I have my real life friends who play Epic 7. They don't read the patch notes. So if you didn't read the patch notes, the entire system feels weird and strange to you. And the fact that there's no in-game tutorial, and like Tristan said, the fact that you can't like convert whites to golds to purples unless you're out of it. There's no like manual way to do that. That causes a whole ton of confusion. So like I just feel like people don't understand the system fully. And as a result, it created that, the feedback that you guys are hearing. It wasn't properly explained. I think that's pretty much the brunt of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fact that I was able to finally consolidate my 5-star RGBs, not just waiting to fuse them for optimal imprinting in case I get that ML5 later down the line, right? That the fact that I can like just consolidate them now and put them back in the storage, it saved me like probably cleared 100 hero spaces. So love the system, love the fact that like in an RPG, we're making it streamlined, just like how a lot of other RPGs are, right? So no complaints here.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of like a matter of...
There'll be a major guide on this once Ancient Inheritance backs off of us a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just a matter of learning the system, right? But we are getting kind of close, and one of the things we like to do on the stream during the podcast is giving away some Skystones to our viewers. And what's going to happen is our guests will be choosing one of you guys, well, 3 of you total, to receive some Skystones. And Tristan and Sue will be picking 2 people from YouTube chat, and Ace will be choosing 1 person from Twitch chat, because I think we did 2 from Twitch last time. So we're going to flip it and give it to YouTube this time. So Tristan, if you want to start, tell YouTube chat what they need to do in order to be picked for the Skystones.
Okay, chat. the first person I see that types every Bologna is the best Bologna.
You heard it
Gets
here.
these sky
Every
stones.
Bologna. Every Bologna is the best Bologna. Typity type type.
Hey, Soda Peasop. Congrats, man. You
Soda
typed
on
fast.
YouTube.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, we have. Ooh, is it okay that it's spelled incorrectly at the end, though?
Oh.
Does he still get it?
Bellon, Bologna. What is a Bellon? How is Bologna the best Bellon?
Sorry, I gotta call you out.
Sorry,
I think
Soda.
I think that goes to
We got
Dandy
a
Crocodile.
Dandy
then.
Crocodile.
Dandy Crocodile it is. Okay. Sue.
All right, mine's really simple. You don't need to know the correct version, but what character is my favorite character in Epic 7? The first person to get it. It should be fairly obvious if you have eyeballs.
It's okay, you have a second chance.
I'm getting me some sky stones.
That's Luis. Luis right there. Luis von Ager.
Stupid delay.
Dang, RGB Sermia. He tricked you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which version. I said it doesn't matter which version of the
Oh.
character. Just which one is my favorite character. So there you go. So it goes to Luis von Ager. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. You're always in my my chats and stuff. I am terrible at pronouncing names.
Oh. Okay, a regular, huh?
Mhm.
Okay, so Ace,
All
you are
right.
choosing from Twitch chat. Twitch chat, have your fingers ready on that keyboard.
Yes. The first person to tell me their favorite 4-star hero in Epic 7 gets it.
Not your
4-star,
favorite.
guys.
Not your favorite, their favorite?
Their favorite. Oh, Mr. Schauder, spelled Mrchauder, said Karin, or Karin. A lot of people pronounce it differently. I know Jagan pronounces it Karin.
It is, yeah, it's Corinne. If you go to her summon animation, she pronounces it. She's like, it's like, my name's Corinne Fontaine or Fontaine or something like. I don't know her last
Oh.
name.
Ooh, okay.
Okay,
So-
so we have our winners, Mr. I want to say Chowder. Is it Chowder or is it Chowder? Louis Von Ager and Dandy Crocodile, please either message me on Discord. You can find me in the official server. Send me your in-game name and your server, or you can message me on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, YouTube, you're gonna have to message me on Discord. Chowder like the kids show. Nice. Okay, Chowder. I had a feeling. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody here. We are getting really close, but before we end, how are you guys feeling? Your very first time on the official stream. I do have to ask. I am very curious. How are you feeling? I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but outside of that, how are you feeling?
I'm over the moon personally. Like, this is one of the big things that I wanted to do when I first started making Epic 7 content. I was like, I really want to be on the World's End Table Talks at some point. It's just like one of those things. I used to be on other podcasts for other games, and I just really like this format. So when I saw the Epic 7 had one, I was like, oh, I want to do that one of these days. That'll be so fun. Here we are, and I got to do it with two people that I respect so much. Like,
Aw.
Tristan is literally the PvE god, and then Ace is one of the the best that we have in RTA. He just does things his own way, and he's just very competent, very good at the game.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here too. It's I never expected to be an influencer for this game. I've just always enjoyed it from the day I started. I don't think there's been a day that I haven't logged into the game and played for way more hours than I probably should. But I've made some great friends and wonderful community. I mean, really, if you've been in other game communities, wonderful community. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Same here. It was an honor being on this podcast. I love just the format of being able to sit down and talk about some of the balancing changes and some other topics too. And it was such a pleasure just bouncing ideas off of Sue and TristenWulf. And always loved Epic 7's RTA, and we'll continue playing that. And yeah, I just feel really happy being on here. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, before we go, I would like you all to just drop your socials just one more time. This time we will start with Tristan. So Tristan, please take it away for us.
Hey, I've got 1 or 2 videos on YouTube. Maybe even one of them will be useful to you. You can check it out. Just search YouTube at TristenWulf, and you'll find me there. That's, other than Discord, about the only social I got. And if you want my Discord, it's in just about every YouTube video. So hope to see you on there. And if you have questions, hit me up.
Yeah. You could find me on YouTube at IM_TSU. If you are looking for maybe abyss guides or how to play a specific character, then you could definitely check out the channel there. Otherwise, hit me up on Discord. I link my Discord also in a lot of my videos descriptions. I'm always down to help new players or players that are trying to accomplish a goal and kind of push themselves to the next level. Other than that, I just recently, like this week, honestly, started to try to really stream more on Twitch, which you can see there, IM_TSU. I should be streaming probably either tomorrow or Saturday at some point with Divine Shadow. If you know him as the caster from the Orbis Caster Clash, you're a winner, because he has called me out for a little bit of a grudge match. So look forward to that.
Yeah, and you can primarily find me on AceTrainerE7 on Twitch. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Discord. Yeah, see you guys later.
Yeah, so thank you again so much for giving us your time. Chat, you as well, thank you so much for being here with us. Next week, we are going to be having our Orbis Overdrive stream, and we have I would say she's a pretty special guest. You might have seen her before, but you'll have to see exactly who that is next week. But yes, we will see you next week. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.